All right, so you're probably wondering why we're wearing different clothes than what you saw before. That's because we are taping this segment before the season starts so that we can air it whenever the show first launches. It'd probably be like around November 1st at noon, somewhere around there. But we wanted to make sure that we got preseason predictions in before the season started.
Yeah, because this is before the season started. How else could we be wearing different clothes? It wouldn't make sense otherwise.
Correct,
So
yes.
this is before the season starts. Pete, let's go through your season predictions.
A lot of talk this offseason about...
Currently.
Yeah, right. This offseason about Connor Hellebuck and Mark Scheifele and whether they are out of Winnipeg. We know Blake Wheeler has already left this offseason.
Because we're still in it. Yeah.
We're still in it, yep. And Blake Wheeler has gone to the New York Rangers. I don't buy it. I think that Hellebuck and Scheifele are going to stick around in Winnipeg. And I'll add this on top of that hot take. Not just for this season. I think that they secretly like Winnipeg more than most people are led to believe.
So like short term, so like another year or two?
I'm going to say like almost a decade. They are going to stick around in Winnipeg, commit to Winnipeg for like almost a decade.
They max, so almost a decade is 8 years.
That's correct.
That's the max you can go.
I will say that they will both stay in Winnipeg for 8 years.
Okay.
I know that's a bold take.
That might fall under the bold prediction, but you got one of those as well.
I've got one of those coming up. Jack Hughes finished 1 point shy of 100 points last year. Not only do I think that he hits 100 points this year, I think that he hits 200 points this year.
Could you imagine how PK Subban would talk about Jack Hughes if he got off to a good start?
It would be almost unbearable.
When will we play this? November, probably?
November 1st, like a little afternoon,
this is before the season we're doing this.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. Jack Hughes, 200 points. I think we're going to see straight out of the gate, Jack Hughes lights the league on fire, and people will start talking about him potentially being the best player in the league. And I could see him really making a Hart candidacy push in the first month of the season, because I don't think the Oilers are going to be that good, and I could see Connor McDavid missing some time in the first month of the season.
Well, what's your cup final?
My cup final will be the Boston Bruins versus themselves, because I don't care what anybody says about the Bruins' losses this offseason that we're currently in. I still think that the Bruins are going to be a good team. We had the same conversation about the Bruins falling off last offseason, the one before this one that we're currently in. And I just don't see it. I think that the Bruins are still going to be a good team, and the only team that can beat them is themselves.
Well, if we end up playing this and the Bruins are off to the start that you think they'll be off to, my take is going to be, hey, look at the schedule, though. They're not playing that many good teams. I think that maybe some people will say that. Yeah,
maybe, but then I think that they're going to play.
But they'll be put to the test once McAvoy gets suspended.
That's true. That's a good point.
What's your bold prediction?
My bold prediction is that Trevor Zegras traded to Buffalo. There's been some talk about, hey, he's far apart on contract talks with the Ducks, and the Ducks, I think, could look into moving him.
That sounds...
And going to Buffalo. The Buffalo right now is the hottest team in the league. Everybody loves the Buffalo Sabres because it's the offseason and they haven't played any games.
Everyone's out on the Ducks.
That's right. And they're going to be terrible. We all know that.
This
because
falls
we're
under
recording
bold
this
prediction.
before the first game of the season. And so Trevor Zegras to Buffalo, I think it can make a lot of sense.
All right, I like all those. Although that last one, that was like a gray bag of checks mixed with how bold that was. But let's get mine. All right. I got Frank Vatrano winning the Hart Trophy. I think this is going to be a huge season for him. I think he's going to get off to a bonkersville start. I think that maybe teams that used to have Frank Vatrano are going to say, huh? Where was this guy when he was lacing them up for us?
Yeah, and frankly, I agree with that one, because if you're not on the Frank Vatrano train heading into this season, it's frankly anti-Italian discrimination.
There you go, Sil. I think the league is going to just do what it can to ruin the draft. I think that like most teams are going to vote to decentralize it. The league only has one event a year where everybody gets together, and that is the draft. And This is a chaotic league, as we say in the title of this show, and I think that they're going to find a reason to screw it up. My cup final is the Red Wings against the Ducks. These are two teams on whom I am very high going into the season.
You just said that the Ducks stunk when I did my predictions.
No, I said that everybody's saying the Ducks stink.
Oh, okay. That's correct.
Yeah, and when you said, I mean, I was biting my tongue.
I do think that the Ducks are going to stink this year.
Well, save it for your bold predictions, bud. My bold prediction is that the Edmonton Oilers are going to be good. We'll see how that one shapes out. But and then another bonus one I'll just give you. Another bonus one is that Josh McDaniels, the coach of the Raiders, is going to end up getting fired. But mainly,
just give him like an extension last year.
Well, they signed him to a 6-year deal, Peter, and they also the general manager that they had from New England, David Ziegler. I don't think he's going to make it either. Okay, let's come back to present day. Whoa, a lot of those were prescient.
I think we kind of nailed them. Like, people are going to be stunned. There's going to be some eyebrows raised as to how good we are at predictions. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you what, this is why we got a hockey show.
Hell yeah.